tutorial series of the operating system. I am your instructor Varshata. Let's start our lecture series. So at the end of this video, you will be able to learn about the Unix command. In last lecture also we have seen some of the Unix commands. So let's see remaining Unix command in this lecture. Okay, so first one is the PWD. PWD, that means what? The print working directory command. So this PWD command, it will print the current working directory name with the complete path starting from the root directory. And example, just you can write the PWD. So here you can see here for PWD we have used. So PWD, that means it will print the current working directory with the home root directory. So here /home student. So current working directory is this. And now suppose you have written cd ... that means it will move towards the previous that means home parent directory. And whenever you will just print the PWD, it will just display the home. Okay, so like this way you can use the PWD command to print the current working directory. Then next one is a who command. Who command, that means it displays the users that are currently logged into your Unix operating system. And syntax for that is the who options and the file names. So here these are the some of the options that for the who command. Who-v, that means it displays the time of the last system boot. Who-capital H, it will display the print line of the column heading. And who-q, that it displays the login names and the count of the all logged on users. And who-a, that means it displays all the details of the current logged in users. So let's see the examples of the who command. So here you can see if you have written just who, it will display the current logged on user and time of that. And who-v display the time of the last system boot. So here the last system boot time that display by the who-v. Who-q, that means it display all the login names and the count of all the logged on user. So here you can see we have just displayed the who-q, that means it display the users, 2 users, and numbers of user is equal to 2. Here 2 users is the student and student. Who-a, it displays the details of the current logged in user. So here you can see the current logged in users details of the current logged in users will be displayed by the who-a. Okay, now next command is a uname. Uname, that means the Unix name command. So it will print the information about the current system. And the syntax for this, that is the uname option. And here some of the examples of that how you can use the uname command. So if you will write uname-s, that means it will print the kernel name. If you will write uname-n, then it will print the network node host name. If you will write the uname-v, then it will print the kernel version. Uname-m, that it will print the machine hardware name. And uname-o, it will print the current operating system. So let's see some of the examples of this. Uname-s, that means it will print the kernel name. So here you can see when you will write this uname, it will display the Linux. Uname-s, it will display the kernel name, that is Linux. Uname-n, that is a print the network node host name. So uname-n, whenever you will write, you will get the output of the network node host name. Here it is a local host or local domain. Then next is the uname-o, that means it will print the operating system. Okay, so here if you have written uname-o, it will display the GNU Linux, that is the operating system. Now next is the password command. So this password command is used to change the password of the user. So here you can use the password command to change the password of the user. And here you can see you have written the password command, and it will give the prompt to change the password, and after that a Unix password will be changed. So here you can see the Unix password is that you where you have to just type your password and your password will be changed. First you have to type the current password, then you have to type the new password. Okay, then next is mkdir. This mkdir, that means what? Make directories. Okay, so make directory, that means this command is used to create the directory. Okay, and here the syntax for this, that is mkdir options and the directory. Now the options that we can use in mkdir -v, that means it print the message for each created directory. mkdir-p, no error, error if existing make parent directories is needed. mkdir-m, that means to control the permissions of the new directory. So here you can see the mkdir, that means it create the directory. So mkdir I have written over here, that is a code project, that means it will display the it will create the code project directory. Now cd code project, that means it will move into the code project directory, in which again two directories will be created, that is css and img. Okay, that means image, style sheet and image. And if you will describe, that means if you will list out it, so if you will ls, you can see the two directories is created in the code project directory. Now next mkdir-v, that means it print a message for each created directory. Okay, so here mkdir lab1, that means here you can see the lab1 is created, but there is no any message. But here if you are writing mkdir-v lab2, that means mkdir created directory lab2. Okay, here when you have created lab1, there is no any message. But when you have created lab2 using this flag, it will just display the message, that is this directory is created. Okay, and here again also, suppose you are making more than one directory, mkdir-v1, 2 and 3. So it will display the message for each and every directory that this directory is created. Now next one is the rmdir command. The rmdir command is used to remove empty directories from the file system in Linux. Okay, so rmdir is used to remove the empty directory. If the directory is filled, that means if any content is there, for example, any file, any text file, any PDF file is there, if anything is there in the directory, this rmdir command will not delete that directory. The rmdir command removes each and every directory specified in the command line only if these directories are empty. Okay, so if the specified directory has some of the directories or files in it, then this can be removed by the rmdir command. Okay, then syntax for this, that is rmdir options, and then you have to write the directory. rmdir sample dir1, that means what? This above command will remove the directory named sample dir1 if it is empty, and if it is not empty, then error message will be produced. So in this case, you have to remove the directory content before deleting any items that is there in that particular directory. Like suppose you want to remove the multiple directories at the same time, so you can write this command rmdir sample1, sample2, sample3. So if all these directories are empty, then it will be removed by this rmdir command. So first here you can use ls, then the three directories is there, then you have written the command, that is rmdir, and then you have just written ls, then there is a no directory. Okay, so this directory is removed by the rmdir command. Now next one is a cp command, that is a copy command. This command is used to copy the files and directories. So syntax for this, that is a cp option source and destinations directory. And for example, you can use this this options in the cp command. cp-i, that means interactive ask before the overwrite. So if you are copying something in any other file, and if the content is already exist and that particular file, so it will just prompt the message that do you want to overwrite, like that. cp-f, that force copy by removing the destination file if needed. cp-n, that means do not overwrite an existing file. cp-u, that means it update the copy when source is newer than the destination. cp-s, that means the make symbolic link instead of copy. cp-r, that means copy directories recursively. So like this way you can use the different commands for the different options for the cp commands. Now here you can see first we have created one file using the cat command. So cat file 1.txt, that means hello Linux, and after that you have pressed the Control C. So whatever the content you have written, that will be stored in the file 1. Now after that we have written the cp file 1.txt file 2.txt, that means the content of the file 1 that will be copied to the file 2. So same thing we can do using the cat command that we have seen in the last lecture. Okay, so cat file 2.txt, whenever you will just describe the file 2.txt, the content that you have written in file 1, that is copied, so you can see the same content it's there in the file 2. Now interactive ask before the override, so you can write the cp-i. Okay, so here cp file 1.txt and file 2.txt, that means it will not ask anything. But whenever you will use that cp-i file 1.txt and file 2.txt, so it will just display the message cp overwrite file 2.txt. Then you have to print, you have to give yes. After that you just ls, so file 1.txt and file 2.txt is there, and whenever you will just describe the file 2.txt, the content that is there in the file 1, that is overwritten in the file 2 if file 2 is exist. Okay, then cp-v, that means a print informative message. So here you can see cp-v file 1.txt file 3.txt, that means what? Here it just print the informative message that file 1.txt dash greater than sign file 3.txt. This is the informative message, that means what? File 1 is copied to the file 3. Okay, then you can describe the file 3, so you will get the same content that is written in the file 1. Now next is the mv command. Mv command is used to move the files and directories. Okay, so mv option and source destinations that you can write, and here there are the numbers of the options. mv-i, so that is interactive prompt before override. F, that means force move by overwriting destination file. Without prompt, and that means never overwrite. U, that means update the move and source is newer than the destinations, and V, that means print the informative message. Okay, so mv command here first describe the ls. So ls, that means it will display all the files that is available in the lab directory. So f1.txt file 1.txt file 2.txt. Now suppose I want to move f1.txt to the lab 2. So what you have to write, f1.txt /lab2, that means it will move to the lab 2. So whenever you will just describe the ls, the f1.txt is not exist now because it is moved to the lab 2. And after that you have to move towards the lab 2 directory. So here cd ... after that cd lab 2, that means you are now in the current directory, that is lab 2. And you will describe this ls, then the f1.txt is exist that you can see here, it is defined when you are just use the ls. Now next one is the rm command. Rm command, that is the remove command. Rm command that is used to delete the files and directories. Syntax, that is rm options and file names. And here some of the options for using the rm command. rm-i, that is prompt before every removal. -d, that means delete the empty directory. -r, that means removes the directory and that content recursively. And rm-f, that means remove the files forcefully. Okay, so here rmi, that is prompt before every removal. So here you can see if you have written the rm-i, that means it will give the prompt for each and every file here. Here in this figure you are just describing the ls, f1.txt, f2.txt, whatever the file is exists that. So that is defined after the ls command. And rm f2.txt, that means it will just give the message, are you want to remove this file, so you have to print y and it will be removed. And whenever after this if you will do the ls, the f2.txt is not there. Next one is a more command. The more command is a command line utility for viewing the content of the files or files once screen at a time. Okay, so more options file, that means here you can see more C, that means clear the screen before the displaying. More number to specify the how many lines are printed in the screen for the given file. More dot hash, that means doesn't display the extra blank lines. Okay, here some of the examples for this. So more number, so here you can see the more -4 file 1, that means it will display the 4 lines. Okay, more +4 file 1.txt, so it will display the data from the 4th line, so up to whatever the line that is whatever the data that is available, and each and every line it will gives the number like this. Okay, next one is a chmod command. Chmod command, that means what? The change mode command. Now the change mode command is used to change the permissions of the files and directories. So in last lecture we have seen the for the ls, when we have described the ls command in detail, it describes the permissions in detail for the root user, for the group user, and for the others user. That is rwx, rwx, and rwx. R that means read, w that means write, and x that means executing. Okay, syntax: chmod, reference operator, mode, and file. So u, that is the owner, that is a file's owner. G, that is a group, the users who are the members of the files group. O, that means the others. Okay, and A, that means the all the three of above. Okay, here the operators plus, minus, and equal to is the meaning of this. That means plus, that means adds the specified mode to the specified class. That minus, that means removes the specified mode from the specified class. And equal, that means the mode specified are to be made the exit mode for the specified classes. And next, permissions. So R, that means permissions to the read file. X, the W, that means permissions to the write, that means the or delete file. And X, that means permissions to execute the file, or in the case of the directory, search it. Okay, so chmod examples: each write, read, and execute permissions have the following number value. So that we have seen: U, that means owner; G, that means group; O, that means other; A, that means all; R, W, and X, that is a 4, 2, and 1; and no permissions, that means 0. So here you can write like this way: chmod 764 f2.txt. So chmod, that is U is equal to rwx, G is equal to rw, O, that is R, and f3.txt. So both the way you can give the permission using the number as well as using this value, that is rwx. Okay, and whenever you will just print in detail ls.l, ls-l, so it will display the permissions that you have defined for the file 3. So here for the f3 you can see the permissions, that is rwx. Okay, rwx, rw, and just r. That means for the user, that means root user, it is rwx. For the group user, it is just read and write, and for others it is just read. Okay, chow, and that means a change owner command. So change owner command changes the ownerships of the files and directory in the Linux file system. So here here this is the syntax for that: chown options, user, groups, and file. So here you can see first you describe the all the files. So ls, l, that means in detail. After that you just write the command chown, that is change owner, root l, left 4. Here in this left 4's owner is a student, so it will be just defined as a root because we have changed the owner of the left 4. So here you can see this is the root owner for the left 4. Okay, so in this video we have learned the Unix command, and remaining Unix command we will see in the next lecture. So thank you for watching. We will meet in the next lecture with a new Unix command. Thank you.